The moment we realized the world's most powerful intelligence agencies were turning their gaze on Burkina Faso, we knew this was no ordinary challenge. This wasn't about diplomacy, negotiations, or peaceful coexistence. This was about them realizing that a small African nation had found a way to break the rules of the game. Burkina Faso, a country that had long been dismissed as insignificant, suddenly became the storm in the global sky. For years, we had been quietly building Sankara Corps, a network unlike anything the West had ever encountered. Not a weapons system, but a sovereignty system, a digital fortress of knowledge, resources, and strategy. Reinforced concrete bunkers, solar power grids, underground fiber optics, and advanced encryption formed the backbone of a facility that combined intelligence, data, and operational coordination into a single, unstoppable force. Our goal was not conflict, it was independence. It was showing the world that even the smallest nation could reclaim its power through knowledge, strategy, and technological audacity. When CIA drones, NSA satellites, and French intelligence teams tried to map our operations, they found only shadows and decoys. Every cyber probe we allowed them to conduct was carefully choreographed, feeding them simulations while revealing nothing about the real capabilities hidden beneath our soil. Within minutes, their drones were down, not destroyed, not traceable, simply neutralized by our precise electromagnetic pulses. They came expecting a small nation to be isolated, unprepared, and vulnerable. They found a network that was agile, coordinated, and impossible to penetrate, without leaving themselves exposed. We had built redundancy, real-time coordination with allied states, civilian alert systems for suspicious activities, and intelligence-sharing networks that spanned continents. Their every move was tracked, analyzed, and countered before it could even reach our borders. They thought they were in control. They weren't. Old colonial agreements, secret corporate charters, and decades of hidden financial exploitation were now fully mapped, digitized, and ready to expose. We knew where every mineral deposit had been claimed, every water basin secretly pledged, every contract manipulated to keep African nations dependent. Dr. Amina Cohn, a World Bank economist who had spent 15 years inside the system, provided us with internal memos, emails, and strategic papers showing how international institutions had been structured to maintain dependency. We used that knowledge not just to defend Burkina Faso, but to empower other African nations to reclaim sovereignty over their own resources. With every revelation, the world began to see the cracks in the system, the same system that had claimed to help for decades but had extracted wealth and knowledge for foreign gain. We trained journalists, local communities, and government officials in monitoring, reporting, and intelligence gathering. People who had never before had access to real-time data suddenly became part of a continental network, capable of countering misinformation, exposing corruption, and responding to foreign influence. Our media response was instant. Western outlets painted us as erratic or destabilizing, but we countered with proof, documentation, and transparency. Every lie they spread was met with immediate evidence from our networks. Citizens, journalists, and allied states amplified the truth. Burkina Faso was no longer a silent target. It had become a beacon of resilience, strategy, and intelligence. Our technological setup, Sankara Corps, was more than defensive. It was transformational. It turned the tables on decades of information asymmetry. For the first time, African nations could see and respond to foreign exploitation in real time. Every mining offer, every financial maneuver, every hidden contract was now visible. The consequences were immediate. International companies found their assumptions OVI. Stock prices wavered. Contracts were challenged. Governments demanded access to documentation that had previously been kept secret. Burkina Faso had flipped the power dynamic, and it was impossible to ignore. Foreign intelligence escalated. Advanced persistent threats targeted our networks, deploying malware that could survive system updates and hardware replacements. But every attack was anticipated. Every piece of hardware was verified, every software line audited, every vulnerability addressed. Their desperation grew with every failed attempt. They realized that conventional tactics, Drone strikes, cyber attacks, propaganda would not work. Burkina Faso had created a model of resilience, intelligence, and coordination that was scalable. Our actions inspired neighboring African nations. Requests for technical assistance poured in. Countries that had once relied on Western oversight now wanted to develop their own defensive intelligence networks. When the UN convened emergency sessions, we did not panic. We presented evidence, historical documents, and data showing exactly how international laws, aid programs, and contracts had been used to extract African wealth while maintaining a facade of legality. For the first time, an African nation stood not just in defense of its sovereignty, but in proof of a system-wide failure of the international order. Every document, every data point, every secret they thought was hidden was laid bare. The world could see what had been invisible for decades. And this is where you, the viewer, come in. If this story of strategy, intelligence, and sovereignty fascinates you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. What's happening in Burkina Faso isn't just history. It's a blueprint for nations seeking independence through knowledge, courage, and preparation. Every small action matters. Every citizen who learns, every journalist who investigates, every government that uses information wisely is part of this revolution. Burkina Faso's story is proof that knowledge is power, preparation is defense, and courage is the ultimate weapon. The dawn of African sovereignty isn't a metaphor, it's happening. Citizens, governments, and allied nations are rising, learning, and taking control of their destiny. The age of ignorance is ending. The age of accountability, transparency, and empowerment has begun. No drone, no cyber attack, no foreign media campaign can stop it. We have proven that even the smallest nations armed with knowledge and strategy can defend themselves, reclaim their resources, and inspire the world. This is the legacy we leave, the path we forge, and the truth we defend. Remember, change starts small, grows with action, and spreads beyond borders. Every person watching has the power to be part of this new era. Stand informed, stay prepared, and never underestimate what knowledge can achieve.